News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 78 degrees with partly cloudy skies, and the wind from the last couple of days just at around 3 miles an hour is a nice breeze. Heading into tonight, mostly clear and a low around 47, and it should be a beautiful rest of the week for weather. Tomorrow, sunny and a high near 80. Again, just a slight 5 mile an hour breeze out of the north. On Friday, sunny and a high near 85, and then on Saturday, sunny and a high near 89. The game is next here on News Radio KMAN.
KMAN Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452.
The following is an exclusive presentation of News Radio KMAN, your home for K-State athletics. It's game time. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Earlier today on the Dan Patrick Show, Dan was like, somebody called in and asked, Dan, what's your all-time March Madness team? Like, best players ever, put them on one team. And Dan was like, I need a day to think about this. Well, I jotted mine down in 2 minutes. I think that was an easy question to answer. Who is the all-March Madness team? So that's how we're going to lead off. My all-time March Madness team. I think I would have more debate putting together just a K-State, all-time K-State team. There's a lot of things to consider. But for the NCAA tournament, let's talk about some legends here for just a second. Obviously, my first player, my point guard, is Marquise Noel. He is the record holder of assists in an NCAA tournament game. He is the GOAT of passers/point guards in the NCAA tournament. He beat Michigan State on one leg. Folks, one leg to get to the Cats to the Elite Eight in a game that went to overtime. Next, I need a shooting guard. And what better could you go with? Well, there was two that came to mind. And they are both from mid-majors. One of them, Steph Curry. But Steph lost to KU. I'm going to go with the guy that beat KU and Ali Faroukmanesh. Cole, do you remember that?
This is a long time ago, but I am familiar.
You would have been like 6 or 7.
Yes.
This would have been the 20. Yes.
Sorry.
6-7s fly around the house there in Wamego, and it goes over my head. Lindsay catches it before I do.
It's now that it's like seeping into everyone's subconscious. Like we're saying it and we don't even know what we're doing.
But is it a thing anymore?
Oh, it's still going strong. Trust me.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's still going strong.
I'll trust you on that one. My small forward, I'm going to go Adam Morrison. Now, everybody remembers Adam Morrison from Gonzaga being the one after the UCLA game. Gosh, that would have been 20 years ago now. Jesus. Crying on the floor before the game even ends. He's all emotional. I'm like, I can think of 29 or 30 guys here that we've gotten to know recently that I wish they had half of the heart that Adam Morrison has for the game. Those tears are for the game. He cares about the game. That was also, he was an emotional maniac. Adam Morrison was crazy. Like, his highlights are just him. The facial expressions was Adam Morrison. And you and, as we have Mason joining us here in just a second, I don't know how much you guys would remember him, but 20 years ago, man, I still remember it to this day. That the end of that UCLA game was legendary. I just decided to put all of Dunk City, Florida Gulf Coast, just all of it.
That's your 4?
Just all of it. Yeah, that was back in 2013. And then my 5 has got to be DJ Burns.
Sure.
I mean, that's like the non-cat as of late that just stole the show, was just a tournament darling that got him all the way to the Final Four. He couldn't miss. He was a ballerina on wood.
Off the top of my head, Anthony Davis, man, put him at the 4 or the 5. That Kentucky team in 2012 was, I mean, they were electric, and he was fantastic. Carmelo Anthony in 2003 with Syracuse. I was surprised they didn't have him there at the small forward position.
K-State owns Kentucky in the NCAA tournament. I would never put a Kentucky player.
Well, they would not have owned them in 2012 if they went up against that iteration of the Wildcats.
Oklahoma State, the Thunder, are the only team or anybody that is honoring any Kentucky players when it comes to the NCAA tournament. And that's by picking them up. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and then who'd be the recent one that they...
Well, Rob Dillingham ended up with the Timberwolves.
Well, the player that he was on the championship team, and why am I blanking on? Mason could probably help us out here. But from the 2023 team that K-State beat in Greensboro, North Carolina. Guys, it's Wednesday. You know what that means? It's AEW Dynamite tonight, as it is the fallout of AEW Revolution. Guys, they hit another home run. That was a phenomenal pay-per-view in a sold-out Crypto.com arena, Los Angeles, California. Tonight they're at the Save Market Center in Fresno, California. I have heard it is a sold-out show, and we're joined by Mason Voth from K-State Online. Mason, who's the Kentucky player? I'm forgetting his name that K-State beat, and he's now an Oklahoma City Thunder player.
Cason Wallace.
Thank you. Yes, the Cats own Kentucky, even the K-State women last year, beating Kentucky in overtime at Kentucky. Kentucky players do not end up on any of my honoring lists. Do you have an all-time NCAA tournament team or player or players?
Oh, I don't know that I do off the top of my head. I mean, I do think Marquise Noel would have to be in the conversation for a lot of lists. He did dominate that tournament. I think, unfortunately, and this isn't a popular answer, but I think it's a correct one to give. I mean, I think Danny Manning kind of has to be on lists like that. If you have a whole run named after you like he did in 1988, I think you have to be on there. And he had insane numbers. I mean, it's unfortunate, especially not just because KU won it, but because K-State was a victim along the way. I'm trying to think of who else kind of sticks out in my mind of these years where, I know Kimball Walker has to be on there, 2011.
Yep.
He's got to be. He's probably the other guard with Marquise. If K-State had made it to the Final Four, Marquise Noel is in that Kimball Walker discussion range, just being the guy running the show and making it all the way to the Final Four.
I remember you mentioned Danny Manning, and just thinking about KU. Everybody remembers the Mario Chalmers shot, but I remember Frank Mason having a really strong tournament run, and I believe he won a national championship. But no, he didn't win a national championship. He wasn't on the national championship team.
It was his senior year was the COVID year, I believe.
Oh, that's right.
When they probably, they were certainly going to be in the conversation. When they would have won. Yes,
when they would have won.
They made it to the Final Four the year that
it was Villanova.
Yeah, and they got blown out by Villanova.
They hit
in the
23s.
semifinal.
Okay, yeah. Well, getting my years mixed up, but
on that KU team, it would have been I don't really know that there was a guy truly driving the bus for him necessarily. I mean, everybody talks about Remy Martins just coming to life for that NCAA tournament, kind of sealing the deal for him. So that's not a fun thing to talk about.
Well, Mason, we'll talk a little NCAA tournament, like this year's tournament, a little bit later on, but we have introduced a new men's basketball coach at K-State. I believe, right, it was after we talked last week when it was official. We were still talking about other candidates, of course, but, this seems like a Mason Voth guy. If you want to talk about a guy that his teams have made the most three-pointers in the last 7 years of college basketball, this has to be a guy that's right up your alley.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really smart individual who likes teams that make threes. He understands how offense works, how the game of basketball is supposed to be played. In reality, I think it's a really solid hire for K-State. Just the consistency that he's built up over the last decade, 20-plus wins each season, that's not something to take lightly. And K-State could really use some consistency like that right now, given how things have gone the last couple of years. So I'm on board with it right now. It was not a great hiring cycle. There weren't going to be a ton of great options out there. And Casey Alexander was in the group of 3 or 4 guys that were to be considered probably solid hires in any other cycle. And this time around, they were the only good ones out there, I think. So And it became clear after listening to him speak on Monday and how Gene Taylor talked about the situation afterwards as well, that it makes sense why K-State landed on him, and it gives me more confidence that he's going to be able to be successful here.
Yeah, nobody in the coaching search wanted the job more than Casey Alexander. Is there anything that from his resume, or if it's a lack of NCAA tournament appearances or the lack of coaching at this level, that maybe does give you some slight concern?
I don't put really any stock into the lack of tournament appearances. Like, it's hard to do in these one bid leagues, and the thing that should stand out to people and that makes it resonate with K-State is that the margin of error in leagues like that, it is so competitive right now. Like, there's no way to distance yourself a ton if you're at Belmont versus UIC or Drake, who's in the Missouri Valley right now. Well, in the Big 12, it's really hard, unless you're going to be really bad, to get a major distance from anybody else in the league because of how good the league is. And there's just kind of a baseline of talent that is always going to be there for almost everybody that you could lose to about anyone on any given night. And that's even more on display at that level. So the fact that over the length of a season, he was able to more times than not show, hey, he's got one of the better teams here, that should mean something coming to K-State now, because guess what? When you get to K-State, the conference tournament doesn't matter. It's a lot of fun, but you should already have your NCAA tournament bid locked up by that point. So really, you just need to be able to give yourself a chance once you get to the NCAA tournament. And I think that if he had, made it into the NCAA tournament, you're going to be thinking of, his teams could have pulled off an upset or done something. One of the more vivid, it didn't even end up happening, but Belmont almost beat Duke. I can't remember if it was 2010 or 2011, but sometime in that time frame, Belmont also almost took down Duke when Casey Alexander was an assistant there. So they've been able to do it at times in the past, and I think he's going to be able to get K-State in a spot where it's just kind of random, the NCAA tournament. So I think he is going to be a good enough coach to get them to the level of being able to beat anybody on any given day. And he's going to be able to do it consistently based off what he did at Belmont and Lipscomb.
Yeah, what you just referenced there was the 2008 NCAA tournament where Belmont was a 15 seed. They lost to Duke. They lost to Duke 71-70. So good memory on you there. The one tournament win was back in 2019, so it would have been right before Casey Alexander was the head coach, and they beat Temple in the first four and then lost to Maryland in the first round. Word on the street is that Taj Manning's going to stick around. It's not official or anything, but that's just the whispers going around, and he has his cousin coming over to K-State to play some football. If you're Casey Alexander and you're looking and you're chatting with the rest of this K-State's roster that still has eligibility left, is there a guy or two, is there anybody that you're talking into sticking around for next season?
I would imagine that a guy like Abdi Bashir is really fascinating for Casey Alexander. Obviously, he can shoot at this level. That's kind of a core tenet of Casey Alexander's teams. So I would guess that he might be somebody that there would be interest in keeping. Andre Kostic is another one. There's probably some serious untapped potential there. There's also intrigue there. He shot, I think, close to 40%, maybe better in conference play this year once his minutes started to go up. So to me, those are really the only guys that I look at right now, and I say, yeah, that they could come back and have a heavy role on next year's team, possibly. But I don't really see many that you would want to fight tooth and nail for to try to get to come back next year. Doreen Buka is a guy that I think, if he wants to come back and play 10, 15 minutes a game next year, he was good enough for his size that you could use something from him. But I don't even think you want to flirt with bringing PJ Haggerty back. That's too much money on a player that doesn't really impact things in a good way at this level. David Castillo, I think you can probably find about 500 other David Castillos that are going to enter the transfer portal this year. I wish it was going to work out better, but he really faded in Big 12 play. Elias Rapiak, maybe, if he wants to come back, I would be interested in that. I'd be intrigued by it, but it's not something that you absolutely have to fight for. So, no, there's really there's not anybody that if they don't come back and going, man, that stinks, and that's not going to work out for K-State. I don't think that there's anybody that absolutely has to be back. On the Taj front, like he's worth bringing back. He'll have a reduced role next year, but like I think he is the perfect type of dude to have in your program, especially under a first-year head coach that's trying to get something established.
Taj could be great of introducing this new roster and this new coaching staff to K-State. Meanwhile, if you think about what Casey Alexander could bring over from Belmont, 2 players are into the transfer portal, including the leading scorer and one of the nation's best shooters in Tyler Lundblade. Does he need to bring Tyler over with him? This is going to be a guy that's going to get a lot of attention in the portal.
I don't think it's pivotal that he brings him. Like, I don't want anybody to get too high or too low on if K-State brings or doesn't get any of these Belmont players. Certainly, I think Tyler Lundblade and Drew Sharnowski are guys that would be beneficial and could be good. And having players that know how Casey Alexander likes to run things, have been successful in a system before, is helpful. But you're going to have to get more impactful players to play in the Big 12. I think they would be fine. They would be good contributors, probably even starters. But you would still need more regardless. And I think some people are going to look at this and think that it's just a lock to get these guys. Hey, Ben McCollum did it when he left Drake for Iowa. It's a little bit of a different deal. Like, Ben McCollum has taken those guys everywhere he's gone. They've been with him his whole career. They went from Northwest Missouri State to Drake to Iowa. Tyler Lundblade, his first 2 years of college basketball, he spent at TCU in Fort Worth. So, like, he's not like a ride or die Casey Alexander guy necessarily, as opposed to like what Bennett Sturts was for Ben McCollum. So I would imagine K-State has a very nice leg up and probably gets a handful of these guys. I just don't think K-State fans need to either panic or act like it's a lock one way or the other that you do or don't get these players.
Mason Voth from K-State Online is our guest. We'll take a timeout. We'll talk more March Madness after a timeout. You're listening to The Game.
Game on. Tweet The Game, KMAN, or call 537-1350 and get in touch with the show. This is The Game on News Radio KMAN.
Whether it's game day or a night out with great live music, Bottle Cap Sports Bar delivers the atmosphere you're looking for. It's Manhattan's go-to spot for catching every Wildcats or Chiefs game and enjoying live music that plays the songs you actually know. Come early for a good seat, great music, and cold drinks served up right. Stay in the loop. Check out their Facebook page for the full schedule of events. Bottle Caps, where the music's live, the game's always on, and the vibe is just right.
Bottle Cap Sports Bar located on West Anderson across from Dairy Queen.
In Manhattan, building community means more than bricks and beams. It means innovation and partnership. At McCown Gordon Construction, we deliver feature-focused solutions to projects that shape our region. From advanced research labs to vibrant education, healthcare, and community hubs. We're not just building projects. We're building the future of the Flint Hills with unmatched customer experience and value-driven strategies. We're building for tomorrow. Visit kansas.mccown-gordon.com.
You've heard the expression, it's what's on the inside that counts. At Schultz Construction, they couldn't agree more. Starting with the foundation and everything inside the walls, Schultz Construction is committed to making sure the things you don't see in a house are as good as the finishing touches you do see. From custom homes to commercial buildings, Schultz Construction takes pride in their quality control from start to finish. Schultz Construction, building trusted relationships through the development of quality neighborhoods.
Manhattan Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer. In order to widely publicize our job opportunities and outreach programs and organizations that regularly distribute information to job seekers or refers candidates to employers, please contact us about our employment contact list to receive the most current information about station vacancies. For more information or to be added to the list, please contact Manhattan Broadcasting Company at 785-776-1350. Visit us at 2414 Casement Road in Manhattan, Kansas, or email front desk at 1350kman.com.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about? What am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's given me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Crispy, blazed, toasty, faded, lit. No matter what you call it, if you're high, you're too high to drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
If you've missed the Kim Commando Show, you've missed a lot.
But you're getting scammed. Scammers will take money from anyone. Doesn't matter how young, how old you are, how rich, how poor.
Short, tall, fat, skinny.
As soon as she went to WhatsApp, we both looked at each other and going, yeah, ugh. Has anyone asked you to go to Telegram or WhatsApp? That tells you it's a scam.
America's digital goddess,
Kim Commando. Kim Commando, Saturday mornings at 9 on News Radio, KMAN.
I'm Cole Betchendorf with the Game Sports Update brought to you by Bottle Cap Sports Bar. On 3 is reporting that Karan Johnson is expected to join Kansas State as an assistant coach following new head basketball coach Casey Alexander. Johnson spent the last 4 seasons on staff at Belmont under Alexander. A former standout for the Bruins, he's also a member of Belmont's Hall of Fame in 2021. Tomorrow night, K-State women's basketball will start postseason play at home in the first round of the WBIT as they face Georgia Tech in Bramlage. K-State could host the first 2 rounds of the tournament as the 2 seed. The Wildcats are riding confidence from the semifinal run at the Big 12 tournament when they won 3 games as the 12 seed before losing to TCU in Kansas City. Thursday's game against the Yellow Jackets tips at 6:30 with pregame at 6 on Sunny 102.5 and News Radio KMAN. Carlos Vasquez's 2 home runs and a career-high 7 RBI fueled K-State to a historic victory Tuesday night as the Wildcats rolled to a 13-3 7-inning victory over Baylor Tuesday night at Magnolia Field at Baylor Ballpark. With its 5th run rule victory of the 2026 campaign, K-State set a program record for run rule wins in a single season. The Wildcats return to Big 12 action this weekend to host a 3-game set with Arizona State starting Friday at 6 p.m.
As Cole mentioned there during the updates, Karan Johnson, assistant coach for Belmont, is expected to come over with Casey Anthony as a assistant coach for Kansas State. 4 years at Belmont. The last couple of years moved up to assistant coach, where he's also credited for, developing, mentoring Jacoby Gillespie, who's now with the Tennessee Volunteers. Who's a pretty outstanding player, a lead guard for sure. And Tennessee, I believe, is a 6th seed, right, for the NCAA tournament. He's worked with a lot of other guards as well. He is a former NBA draft pick, a former major standout at Belmont, and certainly solid player, solid coach. Be great to have him. We're back on the game here on KMAN. Before we get back here to Mason, so yesterday we played a brand new game called Mitch's Mid-Major March Madness game. It was such a hit. It's a group of people, I'll just call them the powers that be, heard so much of a favorable reaction of that segment that they're like, here's some more tickets. Let's play it again. Let's run it back. So I've been handed more baseball tickets. I have 2 pair of the K-State Arizona State game for Saturday. So if you want to win one of the pairs, text in MID to 785-537-1350. I'm going to look for 2 winners. And once again, Cole is going to be playing for you.
It's almost more pressure today than yesterday since I did so well yesterday.
You did very well yesterday. You only missed 2, which was honestly very surprising. The game is...
You and me both.
I'll give you a mid-major program. You got to tell me, have they ever been to the NCAA tournament or not? It's a yes or no, and I'll give you the history behind if they have been or they haven't been. We're back with Mason Voth from KSO Line. Again, text MID to 785-537-1350 if you want Cole to play for you to win tickets to the Batcats on Saturday. Mason, do you think you'd be pretty good at that game, guessing if mid-majors have ever been to the NCAA tournament?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Presbyterian, have they ever been to the NCAA tournament?
Yes, they have.
I can't remember what the answer was.
Me neither. I think they have, though.
I think it was a yes. Army. Has Army ever been to the NCAA tournament?
I'm pretty sure the Blue Hose made it like sometime within like the last 15, 20 years. Like I'm pretty sure I've witnessed them with my own eyes.
Okay.
Make it there. Or maybe I'm just thinking of their own whatever. I don't know. Maybe they haven't. Army,
no, they have not.
Army, I'm going to say no.
Yeah, Army has never been to the NCAA tournament. The other academies have.
Hard for the Patriot League to get teams in. Especially, Navy blew it this year. Navy won the league in the regular season and could have made it in. So,
well, we'll play that coming up at 5:10. Again, looking for 2 contestants. Cole will play for you. Text MID, M-I-D, 785-537-1350. Speaking of March Madness, I was talking about this, what was it, yesterday, that I'm having a tough time filling out my bracket because, history just gets into my mind. Like, you got to pick the 12s over the 5s, and, the Big 12, they haven't had 2 in a Final Four in 23 years. Yet the Big 12 has 3 teams that are in the top 2 seeds. Are you having those struggles, or is this an easier year for you? Do you feel like you're confident in this year's March Madness?
I don't know that I'm confident in it, but I just feel like this year there is a lot better of a chance that we don't have as many upsets, or at least, if there are upsets, they're going to affect everybody. I don't know. I look around and I'm not overwhelmed by a lot of the teams in college basketball this season. It's been pretty top heavy. So I actually think it's been a relatively easy year to kind of pick the bracket. Now, everybody may still end up being wrong, but I think it's as easy as it can be.
I agree with you. To me, it's I kind of compare it to women's basketball because typically there are 2 or 3 teams or they're just above and beyond everybody else. And I think a lot of people would say, Duke, Arizona, and Michigan would be the 3 teams that are above. Maybe you kind of throw Florida in there, but they kind of seem like obviously they're the 4th 1 seed, so they're maybe not quite up to that tier. Is Arizona is that an easy Final Four team for you?
Yeah, Arizona is who I picked to win it.
Okay.
So I'm all in on Arizona. I think they've probably been the best team this season. And, Duke is banged up right now. I think Michigan has probably been a pretty close second in that mix, but their losses over the last month kind of throw a little bit of a curveball to that. But I really like Arizona. They're deep, and I think Tommy Lloyd is a great coach. And it would make sense. They went all these years without having won a national championship, and they leave the Pac-12, and in their second year in the Big 12, they're able to get it done. So I think they do it this season.
I had read somewhere that Arizona was the last team to win a national championship from the western half of the continental United States. Like if you were to put a line, down through Salina, north to south, nobody to the west has won one since Arizona in 1997.
Yeah, Baylor's the furthest west team since then to win a national championship. So, yeah, I don't know that there's actually anything to that other than there's just not like as many schools out that way, and certainly ones that could compete towards the top. But that is an actual thing.
Not as many schools, yes, but you consider Arizona, UCLA, Gonzaga.
UCLA's washed at this point, though.
Cronin's probably a Hall of Fame coach, or maybe close to it, even though they haven't won a national championship.
Yeah, I just I'm out. I'm out on UCLA as a blue blood.
Okay,
they're an old blood.
Who's the if there were going to be 2 Big 12 teams in the Final Four, who's that second team?
Arizona and Houston. I think Houston, them playing Arizona really tough in Kansas City stood out. They won some significant games in significant ways there. And I think they're probably going to be a team that has enough holdover from last year and a good infusion of like Kingston Flemings to kind of help them get back after coming up short against Florida. They're like, you talk about how hard it is to pick upsets this year. That's like my slight upset is that I think they probably beat Florida and they're able to get back to the Final Four. And that at least negates an all one seed Final Four. But like Duke is the other one that's going to be interesting to me because I think Duke's got some interesting landmines in their way possibly, and they're battling injuries right now as well. So I think that's going to be another one to watch.
I think you'll get a kick out of this. So we had Big Steven Schaefer on yesterday.
Yeah.
We always have somebody come on that doesn't watch any sports predict the NCAA tournament. He's finished in the top 5 of our bracket pool 3 of the last 5 years, and he went straight up chalk for the entire field. He didn't pick a single upset except for Utah State and St. Louis winning as 9 seeds over 8s. That's it. What do you think about his strategy? Because honestly, with my bracket, I'm like you. I'm not picking hardly any upsets.
I think he's got it figured out. I mean, that's kind of how I am this year. I guess I would say one interesting quirk of my bracket as I'm looking at it right now, I have every 9 seed winning. I like the 9 seed better in every matchup this year. The only one that I'm probably like the most wishy-washy on, Ohio State TCU, kind of a toss-up. But Georgia, St. Louis, I kind of want to hate on St. Louis right now, and the way they finished their season isn't the most interesting. But there's not a ton of upset. It's like the traditional games, like 8-9, 7-10. Those are really the only ones where I kind of deviate from chalk because it's been so cut and dry this year in college basketball, and I don't know if that's going to be something that continues, or if that's just kind of a weird one-off thing that we're experiencing this year.
Texas Tech or BYU, they both of those teams are 5-6. Both have a significant injury on their roster. Who would you give out of that of those two the better chances of going on a run?
I think BYU because AJ DeBonsa could be a handful for a lot of teams to face. They get Texas in the first round. Well, I will say this though, both have very interesting matchups looming for them if they get out of the first round because I think they can beat Texas. They would play Gonzaga in the second round, BYU would, and Gonzaga is not a normal Gonzaga team this year. They're a 3 seed because their name is Gonzaga. If it was anybody else, we would be looking down upon them because they didn't overwhelm the WCC. They haven't overly impressed me. I think they can get past them and make it to the second weekend. But Texas Tech, the math has kind of changed on them a little bit. If they beat Akron, they either get to play Alabama, who's going to be without one of their better players because he just got busted for having 2 pounds of weed in his apartment, or Hofstra, who got to beat a battered in lesser Alabama team. So I think both of those teams, even though a couple of weeks ago when they lost, one of their top 2 players, you go, oh, they have no chance. Now they very well both could be second weekend teams because they've been able to sustain a little bit better. BYU's another one that had a really strong showing in Kansas City that made you think, hey, they might be able to do some things with AJ DeBonsa just being the guy. And Texas Tech has put up a good fight too since they lost JT Toppin. So I actually think both are probably in better places than you could have even asked for to make it to the second weekend this year.
Did you watch the Badcast or did you watch the baseball? You watched Venezuela America last night?
Let's see. By the time I was able to get to it, I did watch World Baseball Classic. So yeah, I think by the time I was able to actually start moving around the TV, the Batcats had already ruled Baylor, so I wasn't able to turn that on. But it was good to see them get back on track. Losing to Houston like that on Sunday, that's going to hurt. And I know everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, it's baseball; it happens." You can't let opportunities slip when they're there. It would have been very nice for K-State to come away with the sweep, but whatever. They're clearly a good team, and we'll see what they do this weekend. I did watch a lot of NIT last night, though, because Wichita State was playing Wyoming. It went down to the wire. My brother lives in Tulsa, and he sent me a Snapchat, and he was sitting courtside for Tulsa's NIT game against Stephen F.A. So I was like, oh yeah, I got to go out there and watch Tulsa and see how they're doing. They ended up getting beat, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I was bouncing around the NIT quite a bit last night. It still has a draw for me for whatever reason.
I doubt I'll watch any of it. Luckily for the Bad Cats, there was only one sweep of the opening weekend in the Big 12. As UCF sweeping Oklahoma State, the Cowboys aren't looking to be very good this year. But hey, this weekend, Arizona State, this is a huge Big 12 weekend for the Cats at Toyton Family Stadium. So make up for it there when you're at home, and at least Cats are doing pretty well on the road so far. With that, Mason, I'll let you go. Thanks for coming on 2 straight weeks. Really appreciate your time. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, I need the K-State women to keep the hot streak going, though. Win enough games to come play in Wichita for the semifinals of the WBIT.
And I think they could do it.
I think they can, too. I just, it's nice to have things to do in this, boring, nasty city I reside in. So give me something good like the Cats coming to town.
All right, Mason, we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
See ya.
Mason Voth from K-State Online. Speaking of the K-State women, Tim Everson from the Manhattan Mercury spoke with Jeff Mitty yesterday. We'll hear that quick interview when we come back on the game.
Your home for K-State sports.
Noel, hot pass, runs it down, puts it up late. Oh, are you kidding? Okay.
This is The Game on News Radio, KMAN.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Dollars spent locally today help build a better community for tomorrow.
WTC Fiber Internet is on its way to all of Manhattan. Sign your home or business up today at WTCKS.com. No contracts, no data caps, or overage fees. Fast, local, reliable. WTC Fiber Internet. Sign up today at WTCKS.com.
Enjoy the 11th annual Meet the Makers at the Flint Hills Discovery Center, March 16th through the 20th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Stop by these free come-and-go events each day to interact with various artists as they bring their creations to life.
For a once-in-a-lifetime experience, engagement ring shopping simply can't be duplicated on a computer screen. At Fifely Jewelers, you'll be pleasantly surprised by our pricing compared to buying online, and we offer financing. Plus, you'll have peace of mind by shopping locally with Fifely Jewelers.
Manhattan Broadcasting is keeping it local. Find more great local businesses plus special deals and offers when you keep it local on our website.
Why would you drive hours to fly?
You wouldn't when you can fly MHK from Manhattan Regional Airport.
Shorter times, way shorter TSA lines.
In larger planes, more comfort, and staff who actually enjoy helping you travel.
No wonder they've broken passenger travel records 2 years in a row.
From here to anywhere, fly MHK at Manhattan Regional Airport.
This is Brad Jones, owner of Home of the Flint Hills. When someone you love needs memory care, it's not just a decision, it's personal. At Home of the Flint Hills, we offer memory care in a warm, home-like setting where residents are known by name, not their room number. We provide compassionate care for every stage from early memory loss to advanced dementia. We currently have immediate memory care openings available. If you need help now, call 785-494-2600 today to schedule a tour. Home of the Flint Hills, Christ-driven, family owned, uniquely yours.
We are the keepers of the wild, America's original and most invested conservationists. For more than 80 years, we've been committed to conserving wildlife and the natural landscapes that define our nation. From rugged alpine ridgelines to peaceful tall grass prairies, we've supported the conservation of more than 36 million acres of American wildlands. Our funding has led to cleaner water, fresher air, and improved wildlife habitat. From abundant fish and waterfowl populations to robust deer and elk herds, nothing is more important than maintaining wild spaces for adventurers to explore and wildlife to thrive. We are America's hunters and target shooters, stewards of the American outdoors.
America's hunters and target shooters, along with firearm, ammunition, and archery manufacturers, have invested more than $46 billion to help state fish and wildlife agencies manage and protect wildlife and wildlands across America. For more information, visit outdoorstewards.org.
I actually drop better when I'm high. It heightens my senses, calms me down. If anything, I'm more careful. Honestly, it just helps me focus.
That's probably what the driver who killed a 4-year-old told himself. And now he's in prison. You see, no matter what you tell yourself, If you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The Ramsey Show.
But I hear it all the time. Jade, the system is set up for people like us to fail. There are obstacles to overcome for anybody. For anybody. There's sexism, there's racism, there's ageism, there's all these things, but you're more limited by your own mindset than you are limited by anything systemic. You can't blame your way to a better life. You can build your way to a better life. You can believe your way. You can behave your way. You cannot blame your way.
Life and money advice. The Ramsey Show. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on News Radio KMAN. News Radio KMAN. Weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 78 degrees with partly cloudy skies and just a slight breeze at around 3 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear and a low around 47. There should be some great weather to end the week in Riley County. Tomorrow, sunny and a high near 80, and again, just a slight breeze, 5 miles an hour out of the north. Tomorrow night, mostly clear and a low around 49. Then on Friday, sunny and a high near 85. And finally on Saturday, sunny and a high near 89.
All right, I owe Casey Alexander a big apology because I know I've done this a couple of times. I've accidentally said Casey Anthony, not Casey Alexander. Appreciate the text coming in of, hey, let Mitch know that he's saying the wrong Casey. Look. What was it, 15, 16 years ago? There was like a year and a half I was really into crime. It was very fascinating to me. Does this happen to be the old Casey Anthony situation where she was charged for first-degree murder of killing her own kid, and she was found not guilty? I remember watching that verdict live at Willie's. Used to be Willie's on the west side of town by the theater. Man, was that a story or what? Sorry about that, Coach Alexander. Casey Alexander. I owe $1 every time I will put it in a jar, buy some pizzas or something every time I accidentally say Casey Anthony. Anywho, we're back on the game. Mitch Fortner and Cole Dutchendorf with you until 5:30. We'll have coverage of the first four starting at 5:30. Then we don't have a show Thursday or Friday. We're taking time off. Just go enjoy watching the NCAA tournament like we all are going to, and we're going to take an extended weekend to watch the first and second rounds, the most wonderful time of the year of March Madness. We will play part 2 of Mitch's mid-major March Madness game for 2 pair of tickets. We're going to give away for K-State versus Arizona State at Toyton Family Stadium for Saturday. This is for Saturday's game. I have 2 pair of GA tickets. If you want Cole to play for you, he did really well yesterday. Text MID, M-I-D, to 785-537-1350. Again, that's MID to 785-537-1350. The K-State women's basketball team, tomorrow, we are about 26 hours away or so from K-State taking on Georgia Tech in the first round of the WBIT. As this young, third youngest team in America, this K-State women's basketball team is playing postseason basketball, 3 wins away from making it to Koch Arena in Wichita. To preview that matchup and to hear more from the head coach, for our weekly conversation with K-State women's basketball, Tim Everson caught up yesterday with women's basketball head coach Jeff Mittie.
In the swing of things after a little bit of a break.
Yeah, well, it's nice to have an opponent. You know, I think that one of the things when all the Power 4 conferences move things up in their conference tournaments, there's a big break between Selection Sunday. So I think it's always nice to have an opponent. That week off's a little awkward. It's good to get a little bit of a breather, but, it's good to be back on.
You guys were able to kind of find a higher, more consistent gear in Kansas City. Whenever I talked to 3 players that I talked to, they felt fairly confident that can carry over in front of a home crowd. What have you kind of seen in the last couple of practices?
Well, I think typical getting back into it, we've probably been a little sluggish. I thought today was probably our best practice in the last 3-4 days. I think there's a higher confidence level in our group coming out of Kansas City than there was going into Kansas City. I kept telling them down the stretch, and I think you and I might have talked about this, was just that in post-game stuff is that I felt like we were playing solid basketball down the stretch, but the schedule was so tough. And so I didn't want them to get down, and I just wanted them to stay the course, and I was really pleased with how they went into Kansas City, I think, with the right mindset. And, to make a run, we had to do a lot of things well against a lot of really good teams. So pleased about that. Certainly now, I want the same thing we saw in Kansas City, was just focus on one practice at a time, one scout at a time, one game at a time.
What do you see from Georgia Tech? What things concern you? What things impress you about what you've been able to kind of see so far?
Well, I think a lot of teams in the WBIT mirror each other in the sense that they've had big wins, but they also stub their toe places. Mm-hmm. And so I see the same thing with Georgia Tech. I see a lot of good athletes on the floor. They've had big wins. They got a good win over Notre Dame early. They just blew out Miami of Florida. But they've also had games where they haven't played as well. They've got an outstanding guard that can really make plays at the rim, can also shoot the three, so she's a tough guard because she can do everything. They've got good size on the front line that gets to the glass, and so all of that concerns me.
And then getting a chance, I know the Tess mentioned ending the season at home with a loss versus a very good Iowa State team. They were kind of disappointed about that. Chance to kind of get at least one, maybe a couple more wins at home to wrap up the season in front of a home crowd. How exciting is that for you?
Yeah, I think for us to play in the postseason again is a good accomplishment for where this team kind of came from early in the year and kind of all the hills and valleys we've seen. And I just want to see us play well and have that opportunity to advance. Now, I think anytime you get in a tournament, I said this in Kansas City, anytime you're in a tournament, our goal is to win that tournament. And our goal is to win this tournament. But it will take excellent focus on every practice, every scout, every game, and not get too far ahead.
What have you seen from, obviously, Tess has been in the WBIT a couple times. Kostya has played in overseas tournaments. Taryn has been in an NCAA tournament, but you have a lot of girls who haven't been in kind of big postseason college tournaments like these. Have you, or I guess they have been in Kansas City a little bit. That was kind of a preview.
Yeah. I don't think too much of that in a sense that you've heard me say all along, I've been pleased with this group's preparation most of the year. We haven't had very many where I said we did not prepare, we did not focus here. So I've been pretty pleased with this group all year long in that area. I'll go back to, we haven't always played as confidently. We have sometimes got too internal in our own struggles. Hopefully we grew out of some of that the last part of the season.
And once again, that's K-State women's basketball coach Jeff Mitty with Tim Everson from the Manhattan Mercury. Cats take on Georgia Tech. That'll be a 6:30 tip-off tomorrow night. Bramlage Coliseum tickets are on sale. Pre-game coverage, we'll have it right here on K-Man. That'll begin at 6 o'clock. So we will have an interruption of the first round of the NCAA tournament. We'll do that on Friday as well with K-State baseball with pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6 o'clock against the Arizona State Sun Devils. Speaking of Arizona State, this K-State baseball team is raking right now. Guys, over the last 9 games, K-State's hitting .381. 30 doubles, 22 home runs, 54 walks. They have won 10 of their last 11 games. And arguably, their biggest Big 12 test of the year, as in team with talent, is going to be this weekend against Arizona State at Twinton Family Stadium. If you want to go to Saturday's game, I have not one but 2 pairs of tickets to give away. We're going to be playing in our next segment in a short hour, too, Mitch's Mid-Major March Madness Game Part 2. Cole's playing for not one but 2 of you. So if you want a chance to win these tickets, give us a text. Text MID to 785-537-1350. K-State beating Baylor yesterday 13-3. They really busted it open there in the late innings. They got the run rule, which K-State has announced in their press release after the game that this is a record for run rule games in a season. K-State now has 5 run rule victories, which, number one, yes, that's very cool. I mean, a lot of those have come very recently. But also now all games, for the most part, are, for what I understand, can be run rule games. Over the last couple of years, K-State has played a number of games where it could have been a run rule, but based on, look, it's only a run rule if it's a getaway day and a team has to travel. All right, we'll agree on a run rule. There could have been way more than just what have been in the past. So, yes, this is a cool stat, but also this probably could have been done in years past. It's based on the rule change or what K-State's doing these days. Or I don't know exactly how the rule states, but from what I understand, everything can be a run rule game now at this point, especially at Toyton Family Stadium. Now, I don't know if Arizona State can be one of those teams. Arizona State is a very good team. These are two of the best teams in the Big 12 that'll square off. But like I mentioned before last week, you take 2 out of 3, you're feeling pretty good about where you are. K-State's on the verge of being a top 25 team. As a matter of fact, in some polls, they are a top 25 team. I think K-State's offense can be on a historic run right now. And if you look across the board, a lot of their offensive numbers are top 25 across the board in the nation. Pitching isn't that good, but it's still good. It's still good. Like, this is the most encouraged I've seen of K-State's pitching in the Pete Hughes era. It's not top 25 numbers, but it's top 100 numbers. It can go win you some games. And the bullpen has been fantastic. So this is a big series. And it's going to be a warm weekend. Toyton Family Stadium, folks, is going to be packed. And there's nobody else that has free tickets for you to win than us. So text MID to 785-537-1350. I'll text my winners here in just a moment. Cole will play for you. Coming up next is the Mid-Major March Madness game. Coming up next, short hour to the game on News Radio KMAN.
Hey Manhattan, we're the folks who own Manhattan Ford, and yeah, we're new in town.
So if we wave at you in traffic, we ain't flirting, we're just being polite.
But listen, if you're looking for a good pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, we've got a whole lot of them, not to mention all the new rides in stock.
Clean, reliable, and not one of them smells like old fast food and regret.
And if your ride starts acting funny, squeaking, shaking, or that dash is lit up like a Christmas tree,
our service department's ready for oil changes, tires, and repairs.
Manhattan Ford on Highway 24.
Come see us, we'll treat you right.
In Manhattan, building community means more than bricks and beams. It means innovation and partnership. At McCown Gordon Construction, we deliver feature-focused solutions to projects that shape our region. From advanced research labs to vibrant education, healthcare, and community hubs. We're not just building projects, we're building the future of the Flint Hills with unmatched customer experience and value-driven strategies. We're building for tomorrow. Visit kansas.mccown-gordon.com.
Flint has arrived at Vista Drive and has some seafood options we think you'll love. Sink your teeth into our grilled shrimp po' boy with Creole seasoning. Craving classic? The fish po' boy is golden, crispy, and straight up legendary. Or go bold with the buffalo shrimp po' boy, spicy, saucy, and totally addictive. All served with spicy garlic sauce, lettuce, and tomato. And introducing our newest item, the fish wing. Yes, you heard that right, fish wings. Wing-sized breaded pollock and fried to perfection. Don't forget other classic menu items like the grilled cheese and veggie salad. Vista Drive-In, serving up some great Lenten meals.
If Kansas weather has taught us anything, it's to be prepared for everything. It's time to call M&S Plumbing, Heating and Air to make sure your furnace is ready. From full safety inspections to replacing your furnace, M&S Plumbing will keep you and your family warm this winter. If it's been a while since you've had your furnace serviced and inspected, be sure to call and schedule your appointment today. Simple fixes now can save you big money later.
Call the experts who care. M&S Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Manhattan's home for news, sports, weather, and talk since 1950. News Radio KMAN. News Radio KMAN weather.
Right now in Manhattan, 80 degrees, partly cloudy skies, and just a slight breeze 3 miles an hour. Tonight, mostly clear and a low around 47 as we head into tomorrow. Sunny with a high near 80, and again, just a slight breeze out of the north at around 5 miles an hour in the afternoon. Tomorrow night, mostly clear and a low around 49, continuing to warm up. Friday, sunny and a high near 85. Then on Saturday, sunny and a high near 89.
K-Man Daily Weather is presented by Fox Business Systems. How much does downtime cost you and your business? Don't let another second go by. Call Fox Business Systems at 776-1452. Yes, it is that time of the year, even though we're still, 3 weeks out?
Such a banger, man.
One shining moment.
Certified classic.
All right, so final last 20-ish minutes of the game here on K-Man for this week. We're off Thursday and Friday, and we're about to give away two pairs of K-State baseball tickets for Saturday against Arizona State. I have texted our two potential winners. We have Michael from Manhattan and Diane from Ogden that you're, Cole, going to be playing for these two winners. You won yesterday.
Stakes are higher today.
Now you got to do it again. The stakes are higher. Same rules as yesterday. If you didn't listen to yesterday's show, we are playing, and we actually got a suggestion. Instead of calling it a game, you should call it a match.
A match.
So it's all M's.
Oh, sure.
Mitch's mid-major March Madness match.
Yes. Say that one 5 times fast.
Mitch's mid-major March Madness match. I can just do it the one time.
Yeah.
All right. For those that don't know how this works, Cole has to get 8 right. I'm going to give him a mid-major men's basketball program. He has to just tell me, have they ever played in an NCAA tournament before? This is not including this year's field. So it's just about the previous history. I'll give you a team. You got to tell me, yes, they've played in an NCAA tournament, they've played in March Madness before, or they have not. And this has to be the NCAA Division I tournament. All right, we're all clear on that.
And for reference, yesterday, I knew for a fact 2 of them, and the other 13 were all guesses, basically.
Well, you still went 13-2.
I mean, it was flipping a coin, and I just happened to get heads a bunch of times, or tails, whatever you choose.
So for Diane and Michael, they wait patiently.
Yes.
And maybe nervously.
Yeah.
For you to try to go in days 2 for 2.
Yeah, no chance that it goes as well as it did yesterday.
All right, so here we go. This is Mitch's mid-major March Madness match. All right, your first team is Radford. Radford. Have they ever played in an NCAA tournament?
Just right off the bat, don't like their college name. Don't like Radford. Like, be Bradford or don't be. I don't like Radford. So for that reason, I'm going to prey on their downfall a little bit and say that they have never made a March Madness tournament.
Radford has never played in March Madness. Is that correct?
We're already off to a much worse start than yesterday.
This isn't good.
I don't feel good.
They've been there 3 times. The last was in 2018. They're Virginia.
Man, that's relatively recently.
They're out of Virginia.
Bad miss.
All right, so you missed that one, so you're 0 for 1. That's not a good start. All right,
not good.
Let's get back on track here. Team number 2 is Cal State Northridge. Now, I know where Northridge is. I've called games there. Cal State Northridge is in the San Fernando Valley, so just north of L.A.
I'm going to go no again on this one.
Going to go no. Cal State Northridge has never played in an NCAA tournament. Is that correct?
Oh, man. This is Diane. Michael, avert your eyes. Turn the radio down.
They've been there twice, 2001, 2009.
It's not good. It's not.
We're going the opposite here.
Yeah.
You're
I'm
0 for
going
2.
to miss 13 of 15 today.
Let's try again here. North Alabama. North Alabama. I do know where that is.
Yep.
It's in the north side.
Northern side of the state of Alabama.
I've driven through there. It's pretty. It's actually kind of pretty. Very green.
I'm just going to try to go 3rd time's the charm and just say no again for North Alabama.
No for North Alabama. Is Cole on the board?
Okay, finally. It's good to see one fall.
Yeah, they've been in the A-Sun for a while. They actually transitioned to D1 back in 2019. So
it's relatively recently.
Yeah, so they haven't had a ton of chances,
right?
But they haven't made it yet. All right, so now you're on the board.
You needed that one.
One right, two wrong. You need to get 8 right. Next is William and Mary.
William and Mary.
Has that men's program ever played in an NCAA tournament?
I think there might have been one yesterday where I was positive that their women have made it. I'm not. I think that's kind of where I'm falling for William and Mary. For some reason, this logo is bright and vivid in my head right now. William and Mary. I'm going to say they have made one on the men's side.
You're going to say yes to William and Mary. Is that right?
Man, it's painful right now.
1 for 4. William and Mary, they are known as the Tribe. They've been close many times. As a matter of fact, their eligibility to play for a national championship goes all the way back to 1906.
That was a great guess on my part then.
But they have never made it to an NCAA tournament. All their lives, whenever the tournament started, they've been playing in a one-bid league, and they are 0-9 in conference championship games.
Man. Statistically speaking, I'll take that. That's like when you're having a good hand in poker and maybe you get beat by the nuts. And this time I got beat by the nuts.
For those that don't know what the nuts are, that's the best hand you can possibly have.
I mean, shoot, 120 years of eligibility. I'll take it on the chin on that.
Go and buy your pocket hand or your hand and then the 5 cards on the. Okay. Anyway, all right. So. We've played 4 here. You only got one right.
It's just the law of averages from yesterday. I mean, going that well on basically, missing 2, and I knew 2 for sure. So 11, we'll call it 11 of 13 on 50-50s. It was bound to go the other way.
Quinnipiac.
Oh, man.
I have no idea where Quinnipiac is. I think it's northeast.
I would say Canada. Yeah, that'd be my guess.
Quinnipiac, have they ever played in March Madness?
Again, I have no reason one way or another on this one. I'm going to say that they have made a March Madness tournament or an NCAA tournament.
Quinnipiac, have they danced?
The shot's just not falling today. It was yesterday, and I must have cooled off between yesterday's show and right now, and it's just a lot of bricks at the moment.
They've been D1 since the Tournament of the Millennium. A couple of losses in the NAC championship game. They've been in the MAAC since 2013, but they've never played in the NCAA tournament.
Where actually is that? I've
no idea.
Legitimately never heard of that.
Well, while you looked at it, Quinnipiac, if you know anything about them, that's a hockey school. That's a very good hockey school.
They're in Connecticut.
Like Merrimack.
In Hamden, Connecticut.
Okay, yeah, that's hockey country. That's also, I don't know, now I'm blanking on the sports,
lacrosse?
Lacrosse, yes, or probably a rowing team,
Yeah.
Like a rowing school, polo, sure. All right, so let's get going here, man. Come on, you only got one right.
Yeah,
We've had
I don't
5.
know what's going on.
Cornell out of the Ivy League. Have they ever played in an NCAA tournament?
This is going to be my same strategy for Brown yesterday. They've just been around forever. I find it hard to imagine they haven't made it at least once. It feels like the right statistical play to make. I'm going to say they have made a tournament.
Cornell.
Okay. Little reassurance.
They've been there a handful of times. 5 times. They went to the Sweet 16 in 2010, along with K-State.
Yeah, that was before I was conscious about what sports even were. Not quite.
All right, next we got an HBCU. It is Bethune-Cookman. They're out of Florida. Have they ever danced?
I want to say they have. That sounds familiar for some reason in my head, so I'll say they have made the dance.
Bethune-Cookman, they're the Wildcats, by the way.
Nice.
Bethune-Cookman, have they danced?
Man.
They've never been. Never been.
Feels bad. How long have they had eligibility?
Since 1980. And they've never been. 45 years.
Again,
and they can't get over the hump.
I'll take that one on the chin. I'll live with that miss.
East Texas A&M.
I'm learning new colleges every single time we play this game. Never heard of it.
As I say, most of them you probably never heard of.
And just for that reason, I'll say no.
On East Texas A&M?
Yes.
Is Cole correct?
Okay.
Well, so they're very new to D1. They've only been eligible since 22.
Okay, so that was, yeah. If I would have missed that one, that would have been embarrassing.
Speaking of schools, and again, you're playing here from Diane from Ogden, Michael from Manhattan.
And it's not going well, guys. I'm sorry.
You got 3 right. You've missed 6. There's
Not
still
a good start.
still a chance to win this thing here. See if you've heard of this school. Canisius.
Canisius.
Actually, I think they just, maybe it was last season, played baseball here.
Canisius? I mean, it sounds like you sneezed.
They're from their Jesuit University. They're from Buffalo, New York.
Again, just on principle. I've never heard of it. Again, sounds like an onomatopoeia. Sounds like a sneeze. I'm going to say that they have never played in March Madness.
They've never played in March Madness. Canisius.
Wow, really? Canisius.
Yeah, their first NCAA tournament appearance was in 1955. They've been there 4 times. The last was 1996.
Yep, I just had to take that L. And now I have to go 5 for 5 the rest of the way out.
Come on, you can do it.
It's not looking
you can
great.
Do it. Your next school is Holy Cross.
I'm like 99% sure that Holy Cross has been there, but this also could just be me remembering the baseball schedule for K-State last year. I think that's what happened on William and Mary. The antenna got crossed a little bit. I'm going to say they have made one.
Holy Cross. Are they allowed to dance?
That's a great question. Okay. We're still alive. 13
times. They're actually the 1947 national champions.
Really? Did not know that.
So Holy Cross get you back on the board. Let's see. Actually, you need to go 4 for 5 the rest of the way.
Okay.
4
so I
for
have
5.
a little bit of leeway.
Yeah,
need to hit a couple in a row, though.
Very little breathing room. UT Martin. K-State played them in football a couple of years ago.
Sure.
2 seasons ago, right? The opener.
Yes.
But as their men's basketball program, been to the dance.
UT Martin. My wife's maiden name is Martin, so we'll say yes, they have made March Madness.
All right, UT Martin. Have they been there?
That one let me down. I was thinking no, and then I got the Martin, the familial ties got in my head, and I blame that one on the miss.
UT Martin has never been there, been a member of the Ohio Valley since 1993. They've had 30 years to try. They have failed.
Now we have to go 4 for 4. I liked it better when I knew I had to be perfect. Now the pressure was back off for a second. I needed it on, back against the wall.
You have no breathing room left.
Mm-hmm.
You've used all your lifelines.
I have.
Gardner
Webb. Again, this is the 50-50s haven't swung my way today. Gardner Webb, I feel like I have some sort of faint familiarity with them over the past decade of filling out brackets. I'll say they've made it. Okay. 1 down.
Gardner Webb, 2019.
Okay.
Their only tournament appearance. Yes, you're that vague,
it helped me there.
Hazy, cloudy memory
it helped
of
me.
that. You were correct. All right, so you need to go 3 for 3 now. Maryland Eastern Shore.
I'm just going to say no on principle.
Okay, so I heard
ripping the Band-Aid off.
They played here in basketball not long ago. Maryland Eastern Shore. He says no. Is Cole correct?
Oh my goodness, I'm nervous. I'm getting more nervous the farther we get.
So no, they've never made it to the tournament. Let's see. Yeah, it's just like everybody else, just terrible. They've had really bad history.
Yeah,
they've been eligible since 1973. And they've never been to an NCAA tournament.
Oh no!
All right, so you got 2 left here.
Ugh.
Western Illinois, the Leathernecks. Have they ever danced?
We asked this about Holy Cross. Can a leatherneck dance? What even is a leatherneck? Is this an animal? Is this talking about the neck of a guitar?
It's when a redneck is too much sun.
Yeah,
it turns into leather.
He's been very sunburnt or something. Maybe needs some aloe vera.
I think their mascot's a dog.
Okay, well that makes sense. There's a lot of dog breeds out there in the world. Western Illinois. Trying to just any kind of sense of how long they've been at college or at the Division I level. I'm going to say no, they have not.
Western Illinois. Cole says no. Is that right?
Oh, dear goodness. It's all come down to this. This is cinema.
Wow.
Absolute cinema.
No, the Leathernecks have never been. They've been D1 since the early 80s. And for over 40 years, they have never been to the dance. So we're down to one final school. You have made a miraculous comeback.
A Cinderella run, if you will.
I'm a little surprised. Yes, you are K-State women's basketball right now.
Yeah.
But this is the finals. This is it. This is for Diane from Ogden. This is for Michael from Manhattan. This is for the whole enchilada, or the pan of enchiladas, since I have 4 tickets here. They're looking to win 2 apiece.
I need one I know for sure.
NC Central.
And I have nowhere to begin on this one. No indications one way or another, which has kind of been the theme of the game the last couple of days. My immediate gut reaction was yes. So that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say they have made an NCAA tournament.
All right, locked in. For Diane from Ogden and Michael from Manhattan, Cole looking to pull off a humongous comeback. NC Central, he says, yes, they've been to the tournament. Is that right?
Oh, come on. We got to get, come on, Diane.
That was an amazing comeback.
I mean, Cinderella run.
I don't know how you just pulled that out of your backside.
St. Peter's who?
NC Central has been to the dance 4 times. They are all in the last decade, as in the 2010s, 14, 17, 18, and 19. All losses in the first round.
Feeling good.
You did it again. You go 8 of 15.
I feel like I should go gamble.
I'm telling you, you were so hot yesterday, we should have went and hit up and get a Powerball ticket.
Yes, play some blackjack.
Now we just may settle on bingo.
Yep, I think that's wise.
After today.
Mm-hmm.
But you're still on a heater.
Some Baccarat, maybe.
Say.
Baccarat, I've heard, is easier to play.
I have no idea how to play Baccarat.
Me neither, really. I think it's just like player or dealer or something like that.
Robert Lipson has been trying to get me to go play roulette. Or, I'm sorry, try to go play craps.
Really?
I
don't know what craps are
He's
either,
a
to be honest.
big craps player. But I have no idea how to play.
Is craps just rolling dice?
Yeah. Well, but there's a lot of betting. There's a lot of chips flying everywhere after the roll,
Sure.
I struggle to recognize what exactly is a win, what is not, other than hitting 7 when the number's on or whatever. But, yeah, Robert Lipson, a big gambler, for those that don't know.
Hey, shout out to him.
Hits some casinos on road trips and stuff. Pays for his road trips, I guess.
There you go.
Rolling in the cash. He's a successful gambler.
Or doubles the cost of them.
All right. Congratulations to Diane from Ogden, Michael from Manhattan. We share the same software. Like when I did put all my notes and stuff, I actually printed out today's sheet because you were so good yesterday. I was like, "Are you peeking at the answers?"
Well, that would have been dumb.
You could have looked at them.
This is true.
And so I printed it off today just in case you may have been peeking.
I promise I did not look at him yesterday. And I had a witness in here, Andrew, although he was reading his book, so he was pretty involved in that. So he might not have seen whether or not I was looking at him, but I promise that I did not. I just somehow got 11 out of the 13 that I didn't know for sure. And today, I guess, is the proof that I was not cheating.
Diane and Michael, you guys are going to the Bad Cats. And I'm going to send you one more text here just to confirm you are a winner, where to come pick up the tickets. And we only got a couple of more minutes left. If you want to wrap it up with you have a little Ask Us Anything for us before we. By the way, the Bad Cats play this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. This is our last show of the week. Honestly, if you would have lost, I probably would have still given them the tickets because we didn't have another opportunity to give them away.
Right.
So
it just worked out that I won too.
But we got 2 winners today, 3 this week, and all thanks to Cole Dutchendorf.
Well, it's spring break for the children of K-State, and I think for Manhattan School District, I know for Harrington for sure, for the hometown of Heston, you ever go anywhere? Do you have like a spring break tradition with growing up?
Yes. I went to WrestleManias.
That's kind of sick, actually.
I was real cool.
Was it solo or?
Me and my buddy Rock and Rod.
Okay.
Nope. One year he and his family drove down and I tagged along, and I'll never do that again. It was just chaos, and it was all the way to Phoenix. And then it was just me and him the next year. We drove down to Atlanta, and I was like, I was such a inexperienced traveler.
Sure.
I was like, man, it would have been so much easier just to fly, but I was like, oh, it's flying. I mean, that's for rich people, stuff like that. That
right.
mindset goes there.
Right.
And then it's flying's not that expensive. So we started doing that after 27, and we went to, actually, no, we still drove to New Orleans because it was an easy road trip. We would just drive overnight, but starting in 31 for WrestleMania out in Santa Clara, that's when we started flying. But it was like, we did take a 2-year break because I moved, went to New York for a little bit. It was like done it 8 times, and it was always around spring break.
It's kind of electric.
Yeah. I never did the beach thing.
I only basically just went to Texas with my family. Nothing too crazy for spring break for me.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for the week. Enjoy the NCAA tournament. Coming up next, we got coverage of the first 4. Can Miami, Ohio get out of the first 4 and make it to the round of 64? The action right here on KMAN. For Cole, I'm Mitch. Have a great weekend. Go Cats.